we now discuss module 5 of chapter 5. The title of this module is Cauchy inequality and applications. In elementary calculus, we consider information of a function by its behavior of its derivative. As for example, if f dash x is negative or positive or 0 in any interval, then we can say that fx is decreasing or increasing or constant respectively in that interval. In case of complex analysis, the behavior of an analytic function is used to consider the behavior of its derivative. More precisely, we can say that if a function f is bounded in a certain neighborhood of a point z0, then its derivative cannot be large enough at z0. For that, we first prove Cauchy inequality. Then we prove an important result of complex analysis known as Liouville's theorem, which states that if a function is entire and bounded in a region, then the function must be constant. This result is not true for the theory of functions of a real variable. As for example, if we consider the function fx equal to sin x, then we see that the function is everywhere differentiable in R. Function sin x is bounded in R, but the function is not constant. After that, we will prove generalized Liouville theorem and Picard's theorem. At last, using Liouville's theorem, we prove fundamental theorem of classical algebra. We also provide some examples related to this module. Now we go to our slide. So we now start module 5, Cauchy inequality and application. So first we prove Cauchy inequality. If fz is analytic within and on a circle C having center at alpha and radius r, and if modulus fz is less or equal to m for all z on C, where m being a positive constant, then modulus of nth derivative of f at alpha is less or equal to m into factorial n by r to the power n, and this is true for n equal to 1, 2, etc. So we give proof. Since fz is analytic within and on a circle C having center at alpha, by Cauchy integral formula for nth derivative, we obtain nth derivative of f at alpha is equal to factorial n by 2 pi I integral over C fz by z minus alpha to the power n plus 1 dz, where n varies from 0, 1, 2, etc. On the boundary of C, we have modulus z minus alpha equal to r. So by ML formula, we obtain from above modulus nth derivative of f at alpha is equal to factorial n by 2 pi modulus integral over c fz by z minus alpha to the power n plus 1 dz, and which is less or equal to factorial n by 2 pi into m by r to the power n plus 1 into 2 pi r, and this is equal to m into factorial n by r to the power n, where n is 0, 1, 2, etc. This proves the theorem. So now we consider an example. Let fz be an analytic function within and on a circle having center at 2 and radius 3, taken in positive sense. Suppose that mod fz has maximum value 2 on the boundary of the given circle. Find an upper bound of fourth derivative of f at the point 2. So, given that fz is analytic within and on a circle having center at 2 and radius 3, and also fz is bounded by 2 on the boundary of the circle. Therefore, by Cauchy inequality, we obtain by taking n equal to 4 modulus fourth derivative of f at 2 is less or equal to 2 into factorial 4 by 3 to the power 4. Here m is 2, n is 4, so that is equal to 48 by 81. So, Cauchy inequality enable us to obtain results in complex analysis which have no real variable counterpart. Now, we state Liouville theorem. A bounded entire function must be constant. Proof: given that fz is entire and bounded, let alpha be any point within C. We consider a circle C having center at alpha and radius r. We also assume that fz is bounded by M for all z on the boundary of C, no matter how large the radius r is. Then fz is analytic within and on C, and alpha is an interior point of C. So, by Cauchy inequality, we obtain modulus f dash alpha is less or equal to m by r. Now, letting r tending to infinity, we deduce from above f dash alpha equal to 0. Since alpha is an arbitrary point, it follows that f dash z equal to 0 for all z. Therefore, fz is constant. This proves our result. So, remark, there is of course no real variable analog of Liouville's theorem. As for example, the function fx equal to sin x is a non-constant everywhere real differentiable function on R, and modulus fx is less or equal to 1 on R. On the other hand, we have already seen that each of mod sin z and mod cos z tends to infinity as y tending to plus minus infinity for any fixed x. Also, modulus sin hyperbolic z and modulus cos hyperbolic z are unbounded entire functions. Again, by Liouville's theorem, each of these hyperbolic functions must be unbounded because each is a non-constant entire functions. So, from Liouville's theorem, we obtain a corollary which states that a non-constant entire function is unbounded. This can be treated as an alternative statement of Liouville's theorem. Now, another result, let fz be an entire function if u of xy, which is equal to real part of fz, is bounded for all order pair xy in the complex plane, then u of xy and v of xy are constant functions. So, suppose that modulus u of xy is less or equal to m for all order pair xy in the complex plane C. We consider the function gz equal to e to the power fz. Clearly, the function gz is entire. Moreover, modulus gz is equal to e to the power uxy and which is less or equal to e to the power m, which shows that gz is bounded. Therefore, by Liouville's theorem, gz is constant. Thus, e to the power fz is constant, which means that fz is constant, and so uxy and vxy are also constant. This proves our result. Now, we consider an example. Suppose that fz and gz are two entire functions. Gz is never 0 and mod fz is always less or equal to mod gz for all z, so that there is a constant c such that fz can be written as fz equal to c into gz. We define the function hz by hz equal to fz by gz. Given that gz is not 0 for all z, therefore hz is well defined for every complex number. Also, hz being the quotient of two entire functions is itself an entire function. Again, modulus of hz is equal to modulus of fz by gz, and that is equal to mod fz by mod gz, which is less or equal to 1, because fz mod fz is less or equal to mod gz for all z. Therefore, hz is a bounded entire function. So, hz is bounded entire function. So, by Liouville's theorem, we obtain hz equal to c, a constant, and therefore fz equal to c into gz. Now, we discuss generalized version of Liouville's theorem, which states that a non-constant entire function comes arbitrarily close to every complex number. Proof: we assume that fz is entire and that there exists a complex number a such that modulus fz minus a is greater or equal to epsilon for all z. Let gz equal to 1 by fz minus a. Then gz is entire and modulus gz is equal to 1 by modulus fz minus a, which is less or equal to 1 by epsilon. So, by Liouville's theorem, gz is a constant and hence fz equal to 1 by gz plus a must also be a constant. This proves the theorem. So, a remark, though a non-constant entire function come arbitrarily close to every complex value, it does not necessarily assume every complex value. As for example, the function fz equal to e to the power z is never equal to 0. However, f of minus n equal to e to the power minus n, which tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. The fact that e to the power z assumes every other complex value can be viewed as a special case of Picard's theorem, which we state now. A non-constant entire function assumes each complex value with one possible exception. We consider an example. Suppose that fz is an entire function such that real fz is bounded. Verify whether the function fz is constant or not. So, solution, we assume that real fz is less or equal to m for some fixed m belongs to R. Since fz is entire, e to the power fz is also entire. Let phi z equal to e to the power fz. Then modulus phi z equal to modulus e to the power fz, which is equal to e to the power real fz and less or equal to e to the power m for all z belongs to C. This shows that phi z being entire and bounded is constant by Liouville's theorem. Therefore, phi dash z, which is equal to f dash z into e to the power fz, is 0 for all z belongs to C. From this we obtain f dash z equal to 0 in C, since e to the power fz is not 0 in C. Thus, fz is a constant. Now, we consider another example. Suppose that fz equal to u plus iv is an entire function such that uy minus vx equal to minus 2 for all z belongs to C. Verify whether the function fz is constant or not. Since fz equal to u plus iv is an entire function, by Cauchy-Riemann equations we have uy equal to minus vx, and this gives, together with the condition uy minus vx equal to minus 2 for all z belongs to C, that vx equal to 1. Noting that f dash z equal to ux plus ivx, we see that imaginary f dash z equal to 1 for z belongs to C. We define hz equal to e to the power I f dash z. Then hz is entire. Also, modulus hz is equal to modulus e to the power I into ux plus ivx equal to modulus e to the power minus vx plus iux, which is equal to e to the power minus 1. Thus, hz is bounded, and so by Liouville's theorem hz is constant. Therefore, h dash z is equal to 0. That means I f double dash z into e to the power I f dash z is 0. This shows that f double dash z equal to 0, and hence f dash z is constant. Suppose f dash z equal to C. Therefore, fz has the form fz equal to cz plus d with imaginary C equal to 1. So far we have proved Cauchy inequality. We also proved Liouville's theorem, which states that if a function is entire and bounded, then it must be constant. We also proved that if f equal to u plus iv is entire and U is bounded for all order pair xy in the complex plane, then f must be constant. We also proved generalized Liouville theorem and Picard's theorem. We now prove if f is analytic in a domain D and if f is not 0 in D, then there exists a function g which is analytic in D such that e to the power gz equal to fz. This result is true only for simply connected domain. In support of this, we give an example. After that, we will prove fundamental theorem of classical algebra using Liouville's theorem. Now we go to our presentation. If fz is analytic and non-zero in a simply connected domain D, then there exists a function gz analytic in D such that e to the power gz is equal to fz. So proof, given that the function fz never vanishes in D, therefore the function f dash z by fz is analytic in D. Also, the integral of f dash z by fz between any two points in D is independent of the path in the simply connected domain D. We define another function gz by gz equal to integral over z0 to z f dash eta by f eta d eta plus capital log f z0, where z0 is a fixed point in D, z is an arbitrary point in D, and the path of integration is any path that lies in D. We put hz equal to fz e to the power minus gz and observe that h dash z is equal to 0, which we get by simple calculation. Thus, hz is a constant in D. To determine the constant, we put z equal to z0 to obtain hz0 equal to fz0 into e to the power minus gz0, that is equal to fz0 into e to the power minus log fz0, that is equal to 1. Therefore, fz into e to the power minus gz is equivalent to 1 throughout the domain D, and this proves the result. Note, in this result, the hypothesis that the domain be simply connected is essential. The function fz equal to 1 by z never vanishes in the punctured plane and cannot be expressed as e to the power gz for an analytic function gz. So now we discuss fundamental theorem of classical algebra. The result is, if fz is a polynomial of degree n, where n is greater or equal to 1 with real or complex coefficients, then the equation fz equal to 0 has at least one root. So proof, we assume that fz equal to a n z to the power n plus a n minus 1 z to the power n minus 1 plus a 1 z plus a 0, where a n is not 0, is a polynomial of degree n. In contrary, we assume that the equation fz equal to 0 has no root. Since fz is a polynomial, it is analytic for all z. Again, fz not equal to 0 for any z implies that the function gz equal to 1 by fz is analytic for all z. Now for z not equal to 0, we have fz equal to z to the power n into an plus an minus 1 by z plus a1 by z to the power n minus 1 plus a0 by z to the power n. Therefore, we obtain modulus fz is equal to modulus z to the power n into modulus an plus an minus 1 by z plus a1 by z to the power n minus 1 plus a0 by z to the power n, which is tends to infinity as mod z tending to infinity. This shows that modulus dz tends to 0 as mod z tends to infinity. Therefore, dz is bounded. Thus, dz being bounded and entire is constant by Liouville's theorem. So, fz is also constant, a contradiction. Therefore, the equation fz equal to 0 has at least one root. This proves the theorem. So, corollary, every polynomial of degree n has exactly n not necessarily distinct zeros. Proof, let fz be a polynomial of degree n. The fundamental theorem shows the existence of at least one zero of fz. Suppose that is alpha 1. Then some power of the expression z minus alpha 1 may be factored out, leaving a polynomial dz of degree at most n minus 1. Reapplying the theorem to this new polynomial dz, we obtain another 0, say alpha 2. This process can be repeated required number of times and we obtain our results. Another results, every polynomial of degree n assumes each complex number exactly n times. Let fz be a polynomial of degree n and a is any complex number. Then dz equal to fz minus a is also a polynomial of degree n. Then by above corollary, gz has n zeros and so fz assumes the complex number a with counting multiplicities n times. This proves our result. Now we consider an example so that if all the zeros of a polynomial pz have positive real parts, then so do the zeros of its derivative p dash z. So, solution, let pz be a polynomial of degree n and have zeros at zk with real zk greater than 0 for each k equal to 1 to n. The zeros are not necessarily distinct. Therefore, we can express pz as pz equal to a into z minus z1 into z minus z2 up to z minus zn, where a is a non-zero constant. Taking logarithmic differentiation, we obtain from above p dash z by pz equal to 1 by z minus z1 plus 1 by z minus z2 plus up to 1 by z minus zn. We claim that p dash z not equal to 0 whenever real z less or equal to 0. If real z less or equal to 0, as real zk greater than 0, we have real part of z minus zk is less than 0. Thus, for each k equal to 1 to n, we see that real part of 1 by z minus zk is less than 0 and therefore, real part of p dash z by pz is less than 0, which gives that p dash z not equal to 0 whenever real z less or equal to 0. Hence, the zeros of p dash z must have its real part positive. At the end of this module, we came to know about Cauchy inequality, Liouville's theorem, generalized Liouville's theorem and also Picard's theorem. We proved fundamental theorem of classical algebra by the use of Liouville's theorem. We also provide some examples related to this module. For more examples, please see the self-assessment part of this module. You can also consult any reference books for more details. This ends module 5 of chapter 5.